Hi, I'm Carl Hartman, author of the best-selling book, Brangineering. This video is part of a series that we have called Content Marketing School. We're here to discuss conflict. Now, when I was a kid, my fondest memories of my parents were, well, not necessarily fond, but my parents were a little whacked. And I remember living in Southern California and driving to the beach. My dad had this red Cadillac convertible, and he'd have the top down in the summer, and they had loaded the car up with, ice chests and all sorts of, everything you need for the beach. Beach umbrella sticking out of the car, the whole thing. And we'd be racing through either Malibu Canyon or Topanga Canyon in the San Fernando Valley to get to the beach. And my parents were a bit like the Ricardo family, Ricky and Lucy, and except my dad was German and still hot-tempered, but he would be racing through the canyon. My mom would be clinging on to the armrest or the door, screaming at him, "Carl, slow down!" So just be screaming at him and holding on to her hat, and he'd kind of be laughing, and he was a child with a depression, and so he had a pair of these green sunglasses. I remember there's a bridge missing on the nose piece because he hung on to something forever. I mean, you never would throw anything away, and earpiece missing, but he's sitting there laughing at her, and he thinks this is funny, and I would just kind of be watching this, but the reality is that conflict, her being upset over here and him laughing about it, and made it stick in my mind. And the fact is that the reason we use conflict in stories is that it is not only essential to any drama, and every story should have drama. Every story should have the same kinds of elements that bind the viewer. But within conflict, what we get is heightened brain chemistry in certain areas that actually help cement things in your brain. And I remember those things because of the high emotion that was involved with that situation. But what that means for you as a writer or creator of content is that conflict is that key to you cementing your marketing message or your message just in general in the viewer or the reader's mind. Now, conflict doesn't have to necessarily be something really that strong or necessarily people fighting or that kind of thing. Conflict can be something very simple if you imagine, or if you use your imagination to its best effect. You can think, there's all sorts of conflict. There's a product out there that maybe you sell that would solve somebody's problem if they had it. Say it was a farm tractor that they had a problem and you're providing the solution. That's conflict. Conflict is black and white, cold and hot, contrast. Anything where two things are at odds with each other to juxtapose the good and the bad, question, answer. So using conflict helps cement the ideas in the user, because if you place the conflict properly, so you have a story and you have two things that are opposed to each other, if you're putting your message in between those 2 points of conflict, people tend to remember it. It's a pretty simple principle, but we see that in neurosciences where as the heightened brain chemistry happens and heightened emotions or heightened levels of dopamine and those kind of things, the brain actually receives, attracts, and cements those things stronger. So conflict is absolutely necessary. Even if it is a minor conflict, no conflict, no story. Thanks very much. If you want to read more, there's a blog in detail about this that you can read, print out, whatever you wish. Go here to, on the screen, it says www.brangineering.org. There's also a link in the description. And check out the website. There's plenty of great content there by myself and other authors that are going to give you a really solid foundation for creating powerful content marketing and then be able to move on to what we call big content. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.